when you were a little kid, what was it that you were so good at? Like, did they know right away that you were fast, or were you just like a highly athletic kid in every sport you did, or what was it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was faster than everybody, and then just good at pretty much the sports I did play.
And what did you
Right.
play as a
So
little kid?
baseball, basketball, volleyball, soccer, ping pong,
Everything.
what
Super competitive.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that there's a season for. I played it.
And were your parents like super athletes or anything? Was there any
Yeah, my
rhyme or
parents
reason
were
to?
athletic. My
Yeah.
dad played high school football and baseball, and then played in the minors for just like a super short time in baseball. My mom didn't like do any sports per se, but she's athletic. She's tall. My family's tall and like fit. Um, so you know how that goes. Sometimes you just don't you don't get into a sport, but you're still like athletic. You're like, damn, this person. Like I'm sure you see that in CrossFit all the time. Like, what do you do? Like nothing. I never played any sports. I just
Yeah, there's a lot
do
of those
CrossFit.
guys.
Like I'm a good athlete.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot of CrossFitters that are just gym rats. That were just guys in the gym
yeah,
a lot. But occasionally you'll find a guy, and I usually think they're pretty good. Where you get a guy like Rich Froning, who was for a time the very best CrossFitter in the world.
yeah, I know
Rich
Rich.
is a great
Yeah.
athlete. He can
Oh, 100
do.
percent.
He can play football, baseball. Somebody told me anything you play with the guy, he'll be the best out there. And I think that contributes to it. And I've always said a lot of times it's hard to bring the football player into CrossFit. Like they do well in all the explosive stuff, but anytime there's anything endurance added to it, they blow out because they don't have the engine. And we've seen that with some guys that are just, football players where they come in and it's like, oh, this guy's going to crush everyone. But all of a sudden they don't because they don't have that wide range over all of those different attributes of fitness. They just have the power and explosiveness. But yeah,
Yeah, that's where
usually,
I would be. That's
yeah,
where I would be. I'd blow up. So
yeah,
it's okay.
someone more like a middle distance guy or a 400 runner
Yeah,
that
put on some
would have those
mass. Yeah.
different energy pathways and be able to that's who would, or even a miler, 800 or miler, but they would also have to put on that weight. You're pretty big for a hurdler, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 6'1", 190.
That
So I'm a solid build. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like ginormous, but I also am definitely not small.
I would think you'd
So
be the biggest guy out there.
weight wise, yes, for sure,
Yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah,
But again, it's like when people saw Hussein, they were like, "Oh, this guy, he's too
too
tall to
big.
be a sprinter." So, he's kind of changed the direction of it, and it's kind of the same with you, where it's like, "Hey, maybe all this strength that you have, and that you probably put on for football, has attributed to your strength over the hurdles, and made attributed to your speed."
Yeah, and I think it's really just where I feel good at because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I went to college and got up to 210 pounds at one point. 208 was the heaviest I got, and then I've also been at a point where I weighed 170. Trying to run track and stuff. And I just and
Do,
both I did okay, but like this like area 185 to 190 and like strong and like pretty like like lifting a lot and all that is where I kind of feel good. And I think that all goes to like what you were talking about in terms of not even body type, but just what makes specific athletes good, right? Distance runner is always going to be skinny. It's just because the science behind it, right? You do that much, you burn that many calories, you do that much um, like aerobic capacity stuff. You just literally can't build muscle. Your muscles is just going to waste away,
yeah,
doing that.
yeah, yeah.
And vice versa. For me, I'm not doing anything like a miler, right? So like any muscle I do build and put on will probably hang on there for a while unless I just completely stop lifting.
Do you eat a pretty clean diet?
Very clean. Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
one of the things I've changed over the last few years. Pretty strict during the season, like in terms of just like being consistent. I wouldn't even say strict. It's just like the things I do eat is like so easy to fuel your body, right? Like high protein, breakfast with a lot of fruit. Like I like don't preach enough about like how much fruit and stuff I eat. Like that energy source is pretty elite in terms of calories and like quick energy and like just sustaining energy. Like so like but I'll eat a whole bunch of fruit, like a big bowl of fruit and an apple and a banana and an orange, and then like 4 eggs and some bacon and an avocado for breakfast, and then go out to train. Come back home and I'll have another bowl of fruit, an apple and orange, and then like a pound of deli turkey, and then for dinner I'll have like some berries, a sweet potato, some veggies of some sort, and some a fish and a steak and stuff like that as well. Like pretty very very clean in terms of
Yeah.
just what I'm eating, but the volume is up there because one, I'm training a lot, and two, like everything's so clean, like my body's gonna use it for something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds a little carnivore-ish. The carnivore diet. I was talking to somebody the other day about it because I'm going to have a guy on the show because I eat pretty much a paleo diet, and that was kind of preached in the CrossFit world. But now I'm more ketogenic and just eat my carbs when I need to like work out. But I was talking to the guy about carnivore, and he's like, "Yeah, just eating meat all day." I'm like, "Well, where?" He's like, "Yeah, but I eat fruit too." He's like, I eat the fruit. I eat a lot of fruit, and then I eat the meat. And I was like, okay, that sounds. I'm like, what about your veggies? And he's like, nah, no need.
Yeah, I mean, I eat a little bit of veg, so I would say yeah, it's probably like 80. If I'm carnivore, I'm probably like 70-80% of that.
Yeah,
Because I probably eat a sweet potato every day. I do eat a lot of potatoes. I think just in general as like my carb source, potatoes and rice, and then I'll do some spinach, like in a smoothie maybe. I do like some of the like veggies, like Brussels sprouts. I like Brussels sprouts a lot. I'll do that, and like broccoli and broccolini, and that's pretty. Like I just go to the store and get the same veggies every week. So, you know, not I won't eat them for every meal, but I'll eat like a package of broccoli a week and a package of Brussels sprouts a week, and like 6 sweet potatoes, throughout the week. Maybe I have like two or three potatoes in a day, depending on how I feel.
but back in the day, like I'm a lot older than you. When I was running, guys were eating like McDonald's and Burger King, and I was like, and even then, I was like, what are you doing? You're an elite athlete. Why are you eating this trash? And it was like college, everyone's poor and we're talking guys that, all American and stuff like that. But I just looked at their diet like, what are you doing? Like, why would you put that
Yeah.
trash in your body? And I think it makes a huge difference now, you know, showing like where you can go. Isn't it hard though when you travel as much as you do to get the good food that you need?
It depends. So training for track, the track community is a little bit more anal about that. And so when we get to meets like this, like I got to the check-in, and the first thing they had like a whole bunch of bottles of water. There's bananas on the counter, apples and grapes.
That's
Like,
great.
right, great snack. And then the kind of the meals they have for us are very very clean in general, right? Like they have it's a widespread, so you can kind of pick what you want.
And
Football, those guys are a little bit more like you said. They kind of eat whatever. But yeah, like for me, I would never go and eat McDonald's or whatever. Just no offense to McDonald's. I mean, if they want to sponsor me, maybe we can talk. But I'm nothing against McDonald's in general. I just wouldn't eat fast food really at
ever?
all. Like I feel like I was telling my coach this actually. We were in the airport like 2 weeks ago, and people were like, it was like 6 a.m. and people were waiting in line at McDonald's, and I was like, I just could not imagine eating McDonald's at 6 a.m. Like I would like how I would feel would be like.
Let me.
It's just maybe I've been eating so clean so long that like I just get like sick to my stomach. Actually, after my 1284, I went to a diner like near my hotel, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a burger. So I had a burger, and that was fine, and had some fries, which was okay, probably something I wouldn't eat normally. And then I had a big chocolate milkshake, and I don't do a lot of dairy as well, and my stomach like was feeling crazy that night. I was
Yeah.
like, that's a good lesson. Like I probably shouldn't even, as much as I want to celebrate a fast time and enjoy a cheat meal, like my body is not ready for that.
Well, let me tell you what I've been doing. I've been doing 30 days of eating McDonald's. I probably haven't eaten McDonald's in 15 years, and the head of the owner of CrossFit Malibu, where I live, had this theory that if you ate the healthier versions, that you could maintain health. And so we did blood tests and DEXA scans and all this stuff on my body. and I'm in about 21 or 22 days in
Oh
where I've
wow.
only eaten McDonald's. And I could show you my refrigerator right now. I like come home with like $35 worth of McDonald's. I take all the bread off of everything. I put it, so I've like just chicken, just burger patties. And I've lost a bunch of body fat. Because I probably wasn't eating as clean as I should have before, and I'm a pretty good eater, but I'd gone off the
Yeah.
rails a little bit. And, but just eating, I'm pretty ketogenic right now. I'm not eating any carbs, and I'm losing all this weight. and and we're gonna see though when I get my blood tests next week. We'll see if my inflammation's up, and we'll do my C-reactive protein and everything, and my hormones too. That could be
Yeah.
all thrown off. So it's going to be a very interesting experiment that we did.
I'll have to check in with you. I think that's pretty amazing what you're doing, and I think it also will probably prove a good point that your body's pretty resilient, and it just
Yeah.
kind of like whatever you put it through, it's going to adjust and be fine. So I think right, like you're eating McDonald's, and your body after you probably felt weird for a few days, and now
The
you feel
first
fine.
day first day I felt so sick when I ate my
Yeah,
first meal of it, and I was just like, oh my God, that's the worst thing I've ever put in me. And I was like, I right away called the guys. I go, I don't think we're going to be able to do this. I said, I can't eat
yeah,
this every meal. And now
yeah.
it's gotten kind of easy. My body's adapted, which I think we
Well,
are.
yeah. I agree with you on that. I think just like before I started eating so healthy, I probably ate junk and I felt fine.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
I wouldn't even go to like a gas station and get like a bag of chips. Like the snack I get, my go-to snack like on a travel thing is like if I can find some fruit, great. But if like worst thing, I'll get sunflower seeds and just like snack on those. Like because like last time I had chips, I'm just like, oh.